And hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 20 Minute Moat podcast by Verloop.io. I have a very special guest with me today. We have Shweta Srivastava, who heads customer experience at Tata Cliq, one of India's finest e-commerce brands. Shweta comes with a lot of experience in the e-commerce and internet company space with over 19 years in the industry. She's a real thought leader, and I'm really excited to hear what she has to say today. Before we begin, I'd also ask Shweta to give us a little bit of an introduction into her role, her journey as a thought leader in this particular space, and also what her day-to-day role is like at Tata Cliq. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to the 20 Minute Moat, Shweta. Very, very happy to have you.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. And thank you for having me here.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So, first thing, Shweta, what is your role like at Tata Cliq? I'm sure all of our listeners are aware of the space of the brand, are users of the brand, and are also happy customers of the brand. So, as head of customer experience, what's your role like, and how do you guys go on creating those unique, magical customer experiences that keep bringing people back to the platform? So, yeah.
Yeah, so as head of CS and customer experience at Tata Cliq, I play a strategic and operational leadership role here. And I am, so I simply put it this way: I am responsible for designing and implementing strategies that brings the customer to the center of everything organization does. So I work with leadership team cross-functionally, and me and my team, we are the voice of the customer for the entire organization. So that's my role in nutshell that I would put in. Yes, of course, there are various, so my portfolio involves operations, managing quality of interactions with customers, and also digital CX, benchmarking, service experience. All of that is there. But if I simply put it in, yes, we work for the customers, and whatever best is for customers is something that I drive with the leadership team in the organization.
That's an interesting philosophy you just put forward. The voice of the customer. I mean, that's for everyone who's listening. I mean, this is the kind of this is what you need to take notes of, like that fundamental philosophy that drives customer support, where it's customer centric. And I think that also creates, to a large extent, a very empathetic approach, with customer queries, and it goes beyond just transactions. I actually had this second question. I was just thinking about it while you were speaking. Normally, brands and customers theoretically and fundamentally have a very transactional relationship. It is you do this, and I help you get this done. But how do you getting examples or insights from your role at Tata Cliq, how do you go beyond that? How do you turn a transactional relationship with a customer into something more than that, and create a sense of community? So,
right.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting question, and I feel excited every time when somebody asks it, because this is what we believe when we build processes and when we build journeys, customer journeys at Tata Cliq. What we aim to do here is that we instead of looking at transactions, so that's any which ways there, right? There's an order, there's a transaction. If customer has a query or complaint, they will contact us. That channel is open. What we work continuously every day is on reducing customer effort. How do we eliminate the need for customer to contact us, or eliminate the need for us to contact customer? Why can't we work and we monitor customer journey end to end? So we have a proactive processes in place where we monitor entire customer journey from the time customer is on our app or site, looking for the options, placing the order, then, waiting for the order, and then probably customer has to return it, then waiting for the pickup to happen, then, waiting for refund to happen. So this is an entire journey. What we do, we monitor each part of it proactively. So we have technology driven solutions, and we also have certain dashboards through which we can monitor, and we monitor the breaches. This model predicts in advance that the breach is about to happen, and you have to engage with customer in a way that customer is aware that delivery will be delayed, or there will be certain delays in some of the actions in the journey. And we have seen a very good success rate in this model. If you proactively, transparently inform customer that there is your delivery will be delayed by 1 day, customer appreciates that, rather than getting in a reactive mode where customer is calling us angry and saying that I was expecting a delivery today, it hasn't come. So this has helped us in defining the this process. And it is a kind of magical moment, right, for a customer, when customer receives a communication. And all this is we have the solutions are in such a way that these are non-intrusive. So we do WhatsApp messaging, we do emails, we try and avoid out calling customer, which is today when everyone is busy working from home or virtually trying to manage day-to-day things, calling, getting an outbound call and saying, hey, I am from Tata Cliq, and it is kind of intrusive. So we've built
Yeah.
some solutions which are like new age solutions, and customer will just look at the message and say, okay, that's okay if delivery is 1 day late. So that is something customer appreciates. So yeah, to answer your question, this is how we have been building proactive predictive model in the customer journey.
Quite a few interesting threads, from your response. One is not just about the end result, which is the customer support part. It's also about the product. It's about the entire journey, because that way I feel that for a customer, you are heightening their experience quality and their expectations. And when it is reactive, it's almost always damage control.
Yes.
So something has happened, and now I need to make them happy. But then it's a very interesting take that you can avoid that situation altogether by just being open. And I think that also helps a lot when it comes to building that that kind of a trust with the customer. And I'm sure I'm guessing that in such cases with brands that proactively do stuff like this, customers are not as angry if there is a slight hiccup. They're willing to there is a
Absolutely.
there is
Like I
a
said,
bigger relationship involved.
absolutely. Like I said, so I just want to give one example to make my point. So we have mall business. So there are two apps for Tata Click. One is for mall business, and second is for luxury, where
Okay.
we have all the luxury brands, and that is for different set of customers. And customers who are buying from luxury app, they're the people who are looking for luxury brands like Michael Kors and Armani. And this is a category of HNI customers mostly. So we run a program for them, which is a membership program, Luxury Select. And as part of that program, we assign a relationship manager to the customer. Now this relationship is a luxury customer. We have mixed it up with human intervention slightly, where this relationship manager is connected with customer and proactively informing about the offers, not only about the transactions or orders that customer has with us as this point of time, but also about upcoming offers and what they can avail, etc. So that has worked very well for us in so one is proactive model, which is like seamless. We are serving customer every minute without customer knowing about it. So we are doing that in the background. Second is for HNI customer, it's a mixed approach where there's a human intervention also. There's a relationship manager assigned, but that also in a very non-intrusive way and working towards serving the customer. And we have very high CSAT rates for both. So our CSAT standard is 90% plus, or 90 between 90 to 92%, which is the benchmark. We are 95% for our mall business and around 97% plus for our luxury business. So
Fabulous.
yeah. So,
I mean,
That's something that I wanted to just let everyone know.
yeah. I think like with this also, customers have a high, expectation that when I shop at Tata Click, this is how it's going to be. And when you were talking about the luxury side of things, it's almost like you successfully recreated an in-store experience, but with all the benefits of shopping from home and connectivity and the entire ease of access process. That's a very interesting customer journey, to be honest.
Yes. So, 5.5 years back, 6 years back, when we started Tata Click, we coined one word called phygital, which is
Digital.
physical plus digital. Now it is used by many companies, or people use omni-channel as a, to define that. But yes, we have been very conscious to be non-intrusive, but at the same time, do not lose the human touch. And wherever customer need, we are present. So we do not restrict customer in any channel. That is another philosophy that we have. If customer wants to get in touch with us, all channels are open. We will not restrict, like there are many brands who will not have their helpline number published on the site, or they will just drive you through, you know through web channels or chat bot or chat. We don't do that. We say that we will be present where you are as a customer, and we will serve you your choice. You want to choose a channel, and we will be present there. Yes, we may have certain strategies to drive certain channels and increase adoption, etc., but that's the philosophy that we use.
Interesting. I mean, I wanted to ask you. So now that automation, conversational AI, and bots are, it's no longer something special. It's there everywhere. What's been the customer response like? Do they still feel the need to talk to a human agent at the end of the day? Do they still feel like, okay, I cannot get this problem sorted out in the automated phase of reaching out and doing the whole support process? One, do they still end up at the end of the human agent, or are they still wary to talk to a bot? Do they feel that, okay, this is just a formality that I have to go through these few hoops to reach a human agent? How has the response been for automation in general?
For us, response has been great. And why? I think it also because we are in e-commerce space, and our customers are already net savvy. They are the customers who know how to browse, get things done on internet. So they are educated ones already. So that makes our job slightly easier, I would say, with other industries where you know people like to visit the store and touch and feel and then buy things. uh, our Most of the work is done already, because it's an e-commerce customer who is coming to us, who likes to be served on his or her own, which means i know I know how to browse the site. I know how to look for prices. I know how to compare prices with other brands. I will finalize on my own which one I want to buy, and I will buy it. Yeah. Educated customer, not like going to a Chroma store and then somebody's assisting. This is Samsung. You buy Samsung or LG. uh, our customer will come on our store, online store, and will select on its own. So
Yeah.
educated customer already knows internet, how to use it. So it becomes slightly easier for us to drive digital initiatives. um, Customers are evolving. To answer your question, now customers want to be self-served, which means they don't want to spend time in talking to an agent, explaining their problem, going through that whole ordeal, waiting for their tickets to be resolved, and getting updates. They want everything to be tracked online, right? Uh, it is how they track orders on any other platform. They would like to track it without being disturbed, or without being getting into getting into a conversation with human. Having said that, I think we are at a stage right now where we are successfully solving basic and repetitive queries. because bot also needs to be trained, right? So from
Yes.
day one to what we are now, I think bot has evolved a lot. Now the success rate is better than what used to be earlier. Customers contacting after bot experience, percentage of those customers is continuously going down. But bot has to be trained. There are new use cases, there are new scenarios, and it is a continuous process. But I feel that we have reached to a place where basic and repetitive queries, what is a return policy, uh, how, when will I get my refund, when will I get my order, all of that bot can answer, or customer can go through FAQs and get their answers. For the complex queries, still customer wants to talk to a human being and, state their grievances and problems, and then get help. I feel it's okay, absolutely okay, because otherwise, otherwise, what will happen? Bot cannot be trained on all the scenarios, right? There is a
Exactly.
limitation. While with Alexa and everything, there's a continuous improvement and innovation happening in technology. But at this point of time, I think the entire industry is at a stage where they're able to successfully solve basic and repetitive queries, and then the handoff happens from bot to an agent where there is a complexity involved.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And even with higher order skills, like sometimes empathy, it is better for a human agent at that stage to intervene. And I think this also, from the hybrid kind of take that Shweta you were mentioning, I was just thinking, this also makes it more sensible that human agents can now prioritize what they want to be looking at, and that can offer a way more advanced and more sensitive and curated response to queries at that stage. And I think that really helps both human agents in prioritizing and customers when it comes to getting their work done.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And it works both ways, right? It is in improving experience, as well as there's a good impact on cost as well.
Hmm.
So we can, through technology, we can do one-time investment and cut down on all these repetitive queries that would reach to a contact center, and then a contact center can focus on complex queries and complaints and give that experience to a customer where service recovery is required.
Quite.
So yeah.
I mean, since we're talking about this, I also wanted to sort of deep dive into, what does your customer support and customer operations team, the experience team, what do they look like? And for, again, people in the customer support space who are working in this particular space and building their own, flavor of customer support for those brands, what do you look for when you're building your team, and what should people also, pay attention to?
Right, I will start with the with answering the second part of it.
Okay.
Right. So what do we look for? We have tenets defined, and we revise these tenets every year when we do our strategy planning for next year. Right now we're in process of doing that, so we've revised our tenets. These are the guidelines uh, uh, which tells us how, as a team, as a customer experience professional for Tata Cliq, we should take actions, or we should behave in a certain way when this situation comes. For example, it says, there's a one line in our tenets which says, when in doubt, err on the side of the customer. So
Hmm.
it's a very clear guideline defined. If you have slightest of the doubt when you're taking a call on customer resolution, please be on customer side and do everything what customer is asking for, and don't worry about backend, don't worry about anything else. So agents are empowered to do that. This greatly helps everyone in the customer support team when they are handling customers day in and out. Similarly, there are 5 6 pointers, and this is like a daily dose, and whenever we are confused, we just go back to these tenets and say, okay, guidelines are here and I can do this. So that is something we look for. So this is the second part of the question. And the first part of the question was about the structure and how does it look like.
Yeah.
So uh, we we don't call ourselves as customer support. We call ourselves as service experience team, and we and there are three parts of it. So one is service experience itself, which is digital CX, automation, bots, adoption of bots, and all of that is part of that. Then we have a team who is continuously doing benchmarking.
Okay.
So there's a framework for benchmarking. Know what your competition is doing. So there's a quarterly and half yearly, annually framework to it, and that is happening as part of service experience. Then voice of management, voice of customer. So VOC management is something that we do as part of service experience, and very extensive program is being done where we on NPS, where there's a detractor is there, where we have got less rating from customer, we reach out to and we do service recovery programs. NPS and CSAT is part of it. So that's service experience itself. Other than that, there's the operations, service operations, which means that's a contact center. It's QRC management, where we are catering to customer requests and complaints. And the third, a very important part of it is service quality. So this is a team who works on hiring the right kind of people for our team, then training them what they need, and then monitoring their performance, be a coach, give feedback to agents time and again, and maintain standards of quality that we have defined for ourselves. In nutshell, these are the three sub functions within service experience team: service operations, service quality, and the last bit is, yes, service experience itself. uh, that team does a lot of things around service experience.
I mean, you sort of touched upon something I wanted to follow this question with, and that is, how do you measure effectiveness of of all these teams? And I mean, CSAT is one, and do these metrics reflect customer sentiment? How do you bridge those gaps between the metric and customer sentiment?
Yeah, so both has its own importance, right? You metric is something that is now become a hygiene factor. In order to know that your ops is running up to a certain standard, you monitor certain metric on hourly basis, you monitor certain on daily basis, certain you metric you only required to know on weekly basis. But those metric will remain. Those are reflection of the work done by your team, whether we are above targets, below targets, or how we are doing on various parameters. Sentiment is something. So we have technology to gauge sentiment also. We have voice analytics, where all the recorded calls are being churned by through NLP, where the sentiment scores are published. We do that as well, but that's through technology. Other than that, we have to answer a question in terms of sentiment, at Tata Cliq we have a RCA culture, root cause analysis.
Okay.
Any escalation that reaches to our chairman, or leadership team, or critical one, right, we do a thorough deep dive, and there are various root cause RCA mechanisms we can use. We go through go through that escalation deeply, and to understand why this escalation happened, what went wrong, and what we could have done it to prevent it, and what we can do in a long term to eradicate it. And it's a documentation. We write narratives. We like 10 3-4 page, or sometimes it is higher than that, documents, and those documents are presented in various forums, and actionable that come out from that those documents are tracked till it is closed. So proper program management happens. So this is a culture from day one at Tata Cliq, and we believe that looking at these escalations in a in a separate way, in an individual fashion, helps us capture customer sentiments in a better way. technology, yes, it is there. Metric, yes, it is there. We will continue to monitor that, but we will also understand deeply that why this customer had to escalate, what happened. So that means the grievance has, the sentiment or the anger against a brand is so high. We want to tap that customer. We want to understand the problem and solve it. So that is something that we do, I think, very different from other companies.
Interesting. I wanted to also, just get your thoughts on, are there any, I mean, tech is moving at a very, very fast pace. So what are the kind of tech trends that people in customer experience should be excited about, and they're like, okay, this is what's going to change the way we imagine and understand support. We've seen that happen particularly in the last few years with automation becoming the norm. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? Are there like tech trends that you particularly keep a tab on and look forward to, so that you can bring it back into customer experience and then take it a notch up?
Yes, so there are, in fact, there are many, and technology is something that there are regular, on consistent basis, innovations happening, and new technologies coming, replacing the other one. That, I think, that will keep happening. What we do at Tata Cliq, we follow a lot of reliable research work done by, for example, Gartner, or research work done by McKinsey, and we follow the tech trend that they predict. For example, in our strategy, we will incorporate inputs that these reliable and prestigious agencies are recommending, and these tech trends, we try to incorporate in our strategy for next year, and then we'll put a big bet. So we'll have our 5 6 big bets for the year as part
Okay.
of strategic initiatives, and those tech trends will be there. What I have a keen eye on is on sentiment part, how we can get better on this.
Okay.
What technology can help us get better on this? Because I feel still with voice analytics, speech analytics, you can convert speech to text and then text to meaningful data. Still, we need to do some sampling to validate, and we don't know if the success rate is good or not, to a level. So that manual intervention is still required. So we keep a keen eye on technology that will help us improve the success rate on sentiment analysis,
Got
and
it.
that will, I think, will be a big game changer. And the second part is on VOC management. Like we hear, we try to listen to customers from all the channels. So not only the structured one, which we
Okay.
know that customer, we got 10 calls, and out of 10 calls, 2 were for X reason, 2 were for Y reason. So that is very structured. It is logged in CRM, and we can take out reports. We also listen to customers who are talking in their own verbatim. So unstructured feedback that we get, right? That comes to us through surveys, where we give a free text and we ask them to write what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that free text is also analyzed. We have a AI/ML driven solution where we analyze, and uh, that tool converts it into meaningful data. We are looking for a solution which can give us the integrated approach, where everything can come on a one platform and give us one view.
Got it.
So right now it is slightly fragmented.
A unified view into.
Unified view, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, interesting. Okay, I think I have time for one more question, and that is, you know, uh, this touches on two things. One is a retrospective, as in when you're in Tata Cliq, and when you're investing in a conversational AI or an automation platform for customer experience and support. What were the things that you looked for? And for brands who are listening today, smaller brands or bigger brands in the same industry, particularly, what should they particularly look for? I'm sure all these platforms have to be tailor-made for the brand, and it can't be a one size fits all. But still, what do you look for in these platforms? Like, what are your priorities?
Okay. So you mean brands, you mean the brands listed on our site, or you're talking about
No, other maybe e-commerce
e-commerce
platforms.
platforms?
And what did what were your priorities when when you thought of, okay, this is how automation should be?
Right. So first of all, we, like I said, we have a team who does benchmarking. So we keep our eyes and ears open in terms of what competition is doing. But at the same time, we have a clear philosophy that we're not here to copy anything from competition. We will adopt the best practices, but we will create our own mark as well. So
Hmm.
now strategy, when we do it, we either say that we will become benchmark or we will do better than the benchmark, but we also say this will be our differentiator, right? For example, on the luxury side, we do not copy any of the competition. It has our own vision, our own way of doing things, and that has worked maybe fortunately very well for us.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of when we started, so your question was more about automation, and when we look at automation from competition perspective, um, uh, Tata Click is just 6 years old in the business, right? And Amazon and Flipkart, I don't know, I think it's slightly longer than a decade, or maybe more
Yeah.
than that
Yeah.
globally, right? So they have good technology. I think in terms of technology, mostly we will be in catch-up game for some time. They are a notch above. Some things have worked, we know clearly, like having an integrated, unified CRM, uh, a good tracking mechanism from customer. All that automation is something that we have learned from competition and adopted it. And like I said, we have also created our own mark in certain areas which are very different from other competition.
Fabulous. And yeah, so I think, just to sort of before we wind up, that the importance of having those tenets written down and having a very, very clear and, a very focused view on what exactly the philosophy is behind all of these efforts. I mean, it's quite evident that it's really, really working. And with a brand like Tata Cliq, the experiences are delightful, and customers are more than happy to engage with the brand. So with that, thank you so much for taking time off to come on the 20-minute Moat and have this little conversation, because it was a fabulous conversation with a lot of insights, and I'm sure people tuning in and listening to this episode are gonna really, really get a lot of takeaways and really enjoy this little chat. So thank you so much, Shweta.
Thanks a lot. I also equally enjoyed the conversation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.